Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Into the Night with Shawn Kelly. I am on UPRN Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, 107.7 Mississippi, and everything's great today. Had a really weird week. Um, all this crap that's going along on in all over the world with Russia, China, and all the crap that's happening that happened today with Donald Trump. What's this world coming to? What's the world coming to? It's just a lot of anger. No one's happy anymore. You know, it's funny because I try to look on TikTok and I try to look on the internet and just having a job at the shopping center, cutting meat. There's nobody happy. No one is smiling. Everybody's mean. Everybody's angry. And it's not nice. It's not a good feeling. You know, everybody is like on pins and needles. They're afraid to say anything. Um, instead of saying hello, they just want to say, like, get the hell out of my way. You're bothering me. Yeah. I don't know what it's like in the other parts of the world or here in America itself. Now I'm going to do a little rant here, and I want to. I did it on Chasing Prophecy tonight, and I'm just going to throw a little bit out there how I feel. What happened today with Donald Trump was a bunch of bullshit. Okay. Now, hey Tony, what's up, brother? And when I tell you about this, I'm telling it's how I feel. This is what I think. This is all my doing. I'm not talking about anybody else here. But how in the hell can you take a recent sitting president and put him on trial? How could you? What? So he don't run in 2024? That they go out and pull everything out of the rabbit hole, pull it out of the hat. 34 different, felony counts. For what? So he doesn't run. And to me, that, you're afraid of him. No one deserves that. I don't care. I'll see what happened was by doing that, you just opened up a can of worms. It's like you got Mr. Trump, and you can also get the other presidents that screwed up. Tony says the ones that need to be behind bars get away with everything. And that is true, Tony. I'm with you 100% on that. Everybody that was on that list going to that island, none of them have been charged. I mean, none of them have been, taken, seen in front of a court. No one. And some of the people, especially in the Democratic Party, evil. It's just, I'm 60 years old, ladies and gentlemen. I'm 60. And not once growing up did I ever have to deal with something like I'm going through right now. 7 more years, I can retire, and I'm going to retire peacefully. They say the value of the dollar is going down. And pretty soon in July, we're going to be on this, the type of money where everything is electronic, that our money's not going to be any good. And the media And that's why I blame the most. The media has to have a narrative on putting the fear of God into everybody. And I tell you what, they put the fear of God into me today. They told me, by just listening to the media that we're going to lose $1 and, everything is not going to be like it was and all the crap, all the crap. And so I actually went to a bank today. And it wasn't so much that I was worried about me. I was worried about my mom, all right? Because she saved money, and one day, if this was supposed to happen, that she would lose it, and I would lose what I got. And then I talked to the bank manager today, and she says, "Don't worry about it. It's all the media." She said, "I mean, you have the opportunity to pull your money out, but you really don't have to, because really nothing's going to happen. Something is going to happen to where they have to do a so-called reset, from what I understand. Okay, and sure, it's going to be tough for about 6, 7 months. But you know what?" She said, "It's all going to equal out at the end. And when all this crap is done and over with and said and done, it possibly could go back the way it used to be. I don't want to live in fear. Do you? Do you want to live in fear? I don't think so. I mean, you have to watch. I mean, pay off. They tell you pay off your mortgage, pay off your car, pay all your credit cards off, blah 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 blah, and then don't spend no money to, I mean, not buying things that you really don't need, but you need to buy food, you need to buy gas, you need to buy, you have to buy stuff. I really don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just ranting. I'm just saying that this world is up just right now, and we need to change it. But if you want to go out and protest, you do what you got to do. But we have to stand behind the man that's going through all this crap. We have to show everybody how powerful that the United States of America is. I'm proud to be an American. And I did the military, and I don't want to get too patriotic, but I do believe red, white, and blue, and everything's American, and that's who we are. But we allow people up there in DC who don't want that. And you know what the funny thing about the whole thing about that is? I don't understand why. If you really, really do not like America, then why are you in the government? Why are you a senator? Why are you in the House? If you really hate it, get somebody in there, to who does. A long time ago, growing up, yeah, they had a Republican and there was the Republicans and the Democrats, but back then you voted party. There was no fighting. I mean, not what's going on today. What is it about having power? Do you want the power? Just be you. Have the power of you. Don't bring anybody else into the mix. No, it's not right. It ain't fair. But you need to show how big and bad you are. And I'm not just talking to Democrats. I'm talking there's some Republicans there too. You know, I really seriously never got into politics until I started the working on this platform. And then I just open my eyes and I read stuff and I'm thinking, you gotta be kidding. You don't, I mean, it's just sad. It's disgusting. I don't want to bring him up on the show because I think I have a happy show. What do you think, Tony? Do I have a happy show? I think I have a happy show. But that's my little rant for today. And, if you can, just say a prayer for whoever you want to pray for. Pray for everybody. And I do pray for you guys. I do pray for my listeners. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Tony. And you have a good, awesome show, too. Uh, the Wraith investigators. They're, Tony's great. Tony, you can put your name in your group. I keep forgetting. My memory's bad, but the Wraith Hunters. And they're from Texas. And he's a good dude. His group is good. And that's what I'd like to do a little bit about this show. There it is, the Wraith World Podcast, WWP. And I highly recommend that you go and check them out and listen to their podcast. He has all kinds of good people come on. He has good guests. He's very knowledgeable in the paranormal field. And his wife also sells stones, gemstones and stones, and she has her own little store. So if you like rocks, if you like gemstones, you go see Tony, okay? And I'm sure he can hook you up with his wife, and then you can buy some stones, you know. But yeah, so my show is just for happiness. It really is. Maybe I had a couple shows where it wasn't so hot, and maybe I did have a little bit of anger issues, like I had a little one, like when I first started my show. But I don't want to be that way, you know. I just got to the age where I just don't care. My give a damn broke. I think that's another thing. My give a damn. But you know what? It did. But slowly but surely, it's building back up to where I do care about people. You know, I come to find out that that was my problem for me, is that I cared a lot about others, and I had to take a step back, and I had to start taking care of me. Because if I didn't take care of me, I couldn't take care of you guys. I might not show it on Facebook, but I cheer every paranormal group out there. I cheer on everybody who's trying to make a name or just get their group out there. You know, I did it for a long time, and it's other people's turn. It's other groups. It's other people who had that fire and brimstone and wanting to go out and find the evidence. God bless them. I was there at one time. And so for an old timer like me, it's just time for me to sit back and just watch people grow, especially in the paranormal field. It really, kind of makes me like really happy inside, and I just have a smile. When I listen to Tony's podcast, I just smile, you know. When I listen to Matt Barron's podcast, P3 people, P3 group, that's another group that you want to get involved with. If you're in the paranormal, you want to go with the P3. They're there just to help people because you have a good place to go to where people don't make fun of you. Because I know when I first started in the paranormal field, okay, I was ridiculed, really ridiculed. And I had different belief systems than the so-called, at that time, the TAPS family members. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking TAPS. It took a while for me to accept for what they did, you know. But at that time, when I was having the group and Taps was having their group, I had a little bit of an egotistical problem with that because I thought my group was better than their group, you know. And so, without even thinking, I would call them every name in the book. I wouldn't watch their shows. I would just say PPS is better. But the years that went by, and I started working more and more and more, and got really deep into the investigations, into the paranormal, and helping people, I totally understand why all this, what TAPS was actually starting to do. Did you know, okay, before TAPS came on, before I started my group, if you saw a ghost, you couldn't tell nobody. If you saw a paranormal activity thing happen, if you heard voices or anything that you did not understand, which is paranormal, you couldn't tell nobody. You couldn't. Okay. You look at all the old mental hospitals, the insane asylums, right? I would place a bet on a scale of 1 to 10. There had to be on the 6 level of that scale, 1 to 10. On the 6, that there was nothing wrong with them people. It's just they had the extra gift to see things and hear things and feel things that weren't there. I truly believe that. But it was voodoo. I mean, you couldn't talk about it. People just they shunned you, but way back then. So what they did was they stuck you in a hospital. But what TAPS did was it gave an outlet for people to start talking about ghosts. It gave people to start talking about things that happen when they're in a room and they see things fly across the room. And people started to ask questions. TAPS came on 2 years before I started PPS. And, the majority of my investigations at the beginning, sure, we did cemeteries, we did Bloomis Road, we did all kinds of other places. I remember we used to do a cemetery every Saturday for like 2 months straight because, we didn't know what was going on. But when we started working with clients, October 2006, then the questions started to come. People the houses that we went to, the businesses that we went to, they could actually ask us questions about it. Why is this happening into my house? Why is this happening here? Why am I seeing this thing? And people felt more comfortable talking to a paranormal group. Doreen, hi Doreen, how are you? Good times. Yes, they were, huh? Doreen was in my group. She's a very good investigator. It's another great paranormal investigator. Doreen, she's one of the best, and she's good. I investigated with her, and she's good. Doreen, do you want to put in the name of your paranormal group so everybody can know? I'll say it out loud. You're welcome, huh? But yeah, she was part of PPS, and she was good, and they were good times. They were, but we got to help people out. So that's what TAPS did for the whole paranormal field for everybody. Is that it gave people the opportunity to start asking questions and figuring out, knowing that they can come. Oh, Doreen's group is called the Pennsylvania Spirit Seekers. Doreen, I want you to meet my friend Tony. He's a very good dude. He has a very good group. Tony, this is Doreen. Doreen, Tony. And now they actually. Oh, my wife is from. Oh, okay. Now Tony's coming back, and he said, "Oh, his wife is from the Dust, Crystals, and Minerals." That's the name of her Facebook page, I do believe. Yes. So Tony's wife, her page with the crystals and the minerals, it's called From the Dust, Crystals and Minerals. Yeah. Check it out, look it up, and hopefully she has something on there that you would like to buy. So now that TAPS brought it out, people start talking, people start answering. Now it's been about a while. the last 4 or 5 years, I really, you know, didn't. I started to lose interest in the paranormal field. I really did. I guess I was getting too old, or I, yeah, I was getting old. And I saw all these young, and I saw all these young new groups coming in to play and all their ambitions and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, it's time for me to leave and retire. But if someone invites me out on an investigation, I'd be more than happy to go with you. I'd be more than happy to help out anybody that needs help. But now, what's really crazy is that as I leave the paranormal field, I'm going in and being on the show and chasing prophecy for the last 1.5 years. I've gone into the UFOs. I've gone into the cryptids. I've gone into Bigfoot, the Illuminati, the freaking Masons, everything. Okay. So those are new avenues for me to experience. And I also wanted to do radio a lot more. I wanted to do more podcasts, getting my message out. If not getting my message out, just knowing that I'm out there and I'm talking, and even on Chasing Prophecy, we bring up different topics and stuff like that, and we talk about it. And I like to talk, because, when I'm not on the radio or on my podcast, right, I don't talk to nobody. I don't, because I don't really want to talk to anybody. So this one day, I really look forward to my Tuesdays. I got Jason and I got Into the Night with me. And I got all my great friends that come on and listen to my shows, on both shows. And knowing that the people out there, Tony Doreen and Tommy Miller and a lot of others, they just, I know they're there. And we can sit down and chat, which is great, you know. So I wanted to bring that up. Good luck to all the new paranormal groups. If you have a group out there that is listening to my show, or people out there, please feel free. If you want to be a guest on my show, send me a message through Pittsburgh Paranormal Society on the Facebook page and tell me you want to be on it, because I'll be more than happy, to get you on my show and talk about your experiences. Don't have to be a new show. It could be an old show if somebody's been around. Please do that. I'd like to help out. Paranormal unity is what we need. Not the crap that's going on right now where it's like the Hatfields versus the McCoys in the paranormal TV field. I mean, I don't even want to go in there. I don't even want to go to that. We're not going to go there tonight on that. I just think it's everybody on those shows should come together and just be united and help people out, because that's what it's all about. It's helping people out. And who knows? Maybe there's going to be, a big uproar on more spirits coming in, because you figure, especially in the spirit world, okay? You have to figure, my friend Penny, she told me one time that when you release energy, it attracts spirits, So all the negative energy that you send out there, you're going to get a lot of negative energy spirits out there. Okay, it's going to happen. So imagine I'm just going to say number 1.3 million people out there, and they're all angry. My God, you're going to have a war between good and evil with all the bad spirits coming in. We don't need that. We just need to be happy. I would love to see people being happy. So the more you put out there in the universe, the more it's going to come back on you. And the more it's going to screw you up. And that's when you have to call another paranormal, when you do have to call a paranormal group come in and try to figure out the situation on how to get rid of the things, So, like I said, every new group, every old group, People who are still investigating out there, good luck and happy hunting on that. I got your back. Um, so I said in the thing about the Appalachian, I don't know how to say it, Appalachian or Appalachian, I don't know. It depends on the part of West Virginia that you go to, or North Carolina, or Kentucky, one of the others. It depends on how you say it. Um, when I go to North Carolina, I gold prospect, and I go to North Carolina a lot. Um, I go through the Appalachian Mountains, and my God, they're beautiful. They're really, really beautiful. And I've heard stories and different types of things that go on in the woods, deep, deep in the woods. A lot of people say don't go into the woods in there. And so the Appalachian Mountains really fascinated with me. And I did a quick, looking up some different types of animals that or cryptids that actually are supposed to be in the woods or in the mountains. But I have done some research and I've talked to a couple people that I'm going to bring on my show. I mean, I might even bring them on Chasing Prophecy and we can talk about it. But there's a couple of monsters, cryptids that are in the Appalachian. And I'm going to go to my trusty notebook. Here it is. Look at it, my notebook. The first one that came up was called the Wampus Beast. The Wampus Beast. And I do believe it is down there in West Virginia. It's a half dog, half cat creature that can run erect or on all fours. And the theory behind the Wampus cat is that it goes after people who are sick or the elderly. They attack and I guess kill them or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really good on what they do. This was a fast lookup before the shows come on. But I just wanted to bring up some of these monsters. The next one, this one's in West Virginia. It's called the Flatwoods Monster. The Flatwoods Monster. It's in West Virginia, and it's big and green. And it's like a human. Now, from what I saw and what I read, people think it's an alien. Okay. Um, it's green. There's the Grafton monster, the G. Grafton monster, and there's the Wolfman. Okay. Then the Wolfman is just like a werewolf. It's a werewolf. And I think werewolves are pretty cool, but do they exist? That's for another show. Um, then you got the smoke wolf, and that one, it has black fur, it has red eyes, and when it moves, it transfers into smoke. And so you really can't track this thing. And as the more as I was researching these cryptids or monsters, however you want to put it, everything just became really fascinating. It was like I wanted to jump in my car and go to the Appalachians. I can just go down to West Virginia from Pittsburgh and jump in there. And I'm like, wanted to go and see if they exist. That would be cool. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to live a little longer. Then they have a cryptid down in the Appalachians that is a silver giant. And from what they described, this is like a real big gorilla type of looking thing. And it's silver. I guess you want to call it a Bigfoot that has silver hair. How many out there believe in Bigfoot? How many believe in a dog man? How many believe in cryptids? The Thunderbird. Oops, excuse me. The Thunderbird. The big old bear. It's like a pterodactyl. But they do exist. Um, and you know what, Doreen, up there in the Chestnut Ridge Mountains up there, yeah, I think it's called Chestnut Ridge. There's a lot of stuff going on up there. And did you know, Doreen, that um, Pennsylvania is ranked in the top 10? I think they're fifth. Tony says I didn't until I went into that forest. And like I said, you need to go listen to Tony's podcast in order to, and he has some stories that are really, really crazy and wild about the forest that he's talking about. But yeah, Thunderbirds, Bigfoot, Dogman, all that kinds of all that stuff. The Wampus Cat, they all exist, do they? Or is it just stories brought down to scare children by the campfires? There are some people that say they do, and there's some there's not. But like me, I need to see the proof. Okay, just like I am with the aliens and UFOs. Okay, um, talking to many people, doing many shows on it. Um, I believe that there's something out there. I have no doubt there's aliens out there. I have no doubt there's UFOs out there. But I have to see it to believe it. You can show me any picture and you could tell me that this is a Bigfoot or this is an alien, this isn't an alien. But what I need to do is I need to see it personally to actually confirm that UFOs and aliens exist. Yeah, I need to see that. Now you're probably wondering in your head, well, what about ghosts and spirits? Well, I'm going to tell you, I've seen spirits, I've seen ghosts, I've seen demons, I've seen angels, I've seen them, I've talked to them. You're probably all saying, boy, he's really nutty. And I'm not nutty. I'm being totally honest with you. And so by seeing all those different entities, okay, they exist. But I haven't seen a Bigfoot yet, and I haven't seen a UFO, and I haven't seen no aliens yet. And I guess when I see those, then everything comes around full circle. I do believe I saw a Thunderbird last year. This thing was huge. Everyone's telling me it was a turkey vulture because them suckers are huge. Okay, turkey vultures. But this thing was bigger than a turkey vulture because I've seen some turkey vultures fly. So I believe that there is, some Thunderbirds out there. I've heard about stories about there being dinosaurs that are still existing. Interesting. So maybe one day, I'll be able to go and do a full blown, investigation. Go out in the woods for a week, and because I have a lot of friends in the UFO world and in the cryptid world, that would take me. I don't know if I could camp though, because me and camping don't get along. I just can't deal with tents. But we'll see what happens. Whatever is put in front of me, if I'm got the chance to go, I'm going. But a couple other, there's an interesting one here down there. It's called the raven mocker. It's another animal. The Virginia devil monkey. It's just like a big monkey that just goes through the trees, through the Appalachian Mountains. Then they're coming up to the one in Tennessee called the Bell Witch. And I've done a couple shows on the Bell Witch. And that's a crazy story. Crazy, crazy story. John Bell, I do believe, on the farm. And I'm going to have to look at, investigate it more. But he got sick. His whole family got sick, I do believe. And, that's how the Bell Witch happened down in Tennessee. But it's something really interesting. It's an interesting show. If you get the opportunity, please go Google the Bell Witch in Tennessee, and it will tell you the story. And it's an interesting story, but it's been a while since I had a show on it, so maybe I can bring it up in a couple of weeks or so. Now, so as I was going through, looking at these different cryptids, all of a sudden I saw a video on YouTube about um, the granny witches of the Appalachians. And I heard through watching these videos that a lot of them came from England, Scotland, and Ireland over to the Appalachians. And they lived far deep into the woods. And there was no doctors around, there was no hospitals around. So these ladies knew what kind of plants to use to help cure the illness that the person had. Okay. Now, that's great, And I do believe some granny witches still hang out there, But, it was all good. But they were faith healers, and they had to survive in the mountains. So they went out and they started picking, berries and stuff, whatever they did, put spells on people, but not bad spells, but faith spells. Okay. Faith spells in order to help people get cured. And it happened. But there's also other witches out there that people talk about that weren't so good granny witches. Okay. They were mean ones. They were mean and they, believed in Satan, and I have a friend that's a Luciferian, Frater Crow. He was on my show, last week. And I respect everything what people believe in, but with the witches up in the Appalachian, they're good witches and bad witches. And, so what I liked about this YouTube channel, okay, the show that I saw was that, they didn't talk about how good the witches were, how bad the witches were. There was no black witch, dark witch. They all talked about a witch or the witches that hung out there, They also were saying, too, that a lot of the women up there, the granny witches, used to go and work with the Native Americans that used to hang out in the woods up there, So, can we live off of the land? Of course we can. I think we can do it. And there are people out there who are witches, and there are holistic people that know how to work and heal with natural medicines. Just think about it, right? God didn't make this world and throw us on this world without knowing that we could take care of ourselves. But the thing we need to know is all about the knowledge, how to use it, what to do, So we'll see. Maybe one day when I'm down there in the Appalachians, and I do plan on going. I'm not blowing smoke up your butts, all right? I'm going to go. I'm going to see it for myself. But what's really cool about it, when you go up 77, you got the Appalachians on the right of you, and in the morning you can see all this smoke coming out of the freaking mountains. It's funny. Either doing moonshine or else they made a big fire in the woods, but there's like little smokes, like smoke coming out of the mountains, which I think is pretty cool. In conclusion to this part of the show, if you have the opportunity to learn to do something good for people, do it. And if you need to go to school to learn how to do it, do it. If you need to go find somebody that knows how to work with herbs and teas, do it, because knowledge is very, very big. Listen, I'm being honest with you. It is huge. Um, Doing all, the most research that I can and listening to all the guests that were on Chasing Prophecy and my show, there's so much out there that we all don't know what's up. Okay. So if you have the opportunity, okay, you have the opportunity, do it, learn. And maybe there'll be that one day where you'll be able to help somebody else. Now, I do want to bring up, because I was looking for some ghost stories. I don't know if anybody heard it out there, Doreen. I don't know, Tony, but there was a girl by the name of Zona Hester. Okay, and she was back like she died January 23rd, 1897. All right, and she was from Greenbrier, West Virginia. Well, she married a man by the name of Shue, Shue, I think, and they fell in love and they had children. But the thing was, one day the husband Shue sent a little boy to get some eggs from the house, and he saw the little boy walked into the house and he saw his wife, who was Zona, laying on the floor, dead. And so he freaks out. They call in the coroner, and they do them. They you know tried to do an autopsy, but her husband, the Shoe dude, he didn't want it to happen. He'd go crazy whenever he would start looking. The medical guy would start looking at her, and he didn't do a real good job at doing an autopsy on her. So, to make a long story short, okay, um, as they were burying her in the grave, her husband, was acting all surreal, all calm, crying, feeling good. Not feeling good, but feeling bad, playing it up as he is depressed and his wife died, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden his attitude changed. And her mom, what was her mom's name? I didn't write it down. Her mom knew for a fact that he had something to do with it because she didn't like this dude. So when they buried her, she told the police to come up and try to investigate it some more, and they came up. They pulled her from the grave and they did an autopsy on her, and here they found out that she busted her neck. He busted her neck, and so um, it was time for his trial, and he's sitting in prison. And the ghost of Zona Hester came to her mom and told her mom that he killed her, that he broke her neck. And she came to her mom 4 days in a row. And so came, time for, the court, and she got on the witness stand, and the prosecutor said, "How do you know that this man killed your daughter?" And he says, she said, "My daughter came and visited me as a ghost." And I guess the jury believed in it, and they went and they hung that dude. But that was like a good ghost story, um, kind of sad ghost story. But when I go to Greenbrier, West Virginia, and I will go there, just to check it out and see what happens. Maybe I get to meet her. But from what I understand and from what I read, that Zona, after her husband got, convicted and hung, she never came back again. So that was one ghost story in the Appalachians, the Greenbrier Witch. No, the Greenbrier Ghost. Yes. So hopefully, down the road, I'll come up with some more ghost stories and stuff like that. If anybody out there has any type of idea they would like to have on the show, if you would like to be on my show, please send me a message, okay? And I will get you on and we can talk about, whatever you want to talk about. Next week, hopefully, I can get that guy who really understands and knows about the cryptids through the mountains down there. Hopefully, I can get a hold of him. I sent him an email. He never got back to me yet, but you know what? Hey, if he's supposed to be here, he's going to be here. So we got about 4 minutes left of the show, and I just want to give a shout out to Jenny Nicasio, who is my co-host on Chasing Prophecy. Right now, she's taking a little leave of absence from Chasing Prophecy, and I want Jenny to know that we are thinking about her. And hopefully, when she comes back, she comes back. But right now, I have a new co-host with me. He's a friend of mine. His name is Michael Anthony. I've had him on this show about 2-3 weeks ago, and we did our first show today on Chasing, and it turned out great. It really did. He's very knowledgeable. He knows a lot of things, and he's a good dude, man. He's helped me out so much, but he's a good dude, and he's willing to help people. So if you can, next Tuesday, if you're not doing nothing, come by on UPRN Radio 105.3 New Orleans and 107.7 Mississippi and check out Chasing Prophecy. We're on 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And then you can wait around an hour and then you can come on my show. But, so please, if you can, get the opportunity to come and listen to the shows because we're going to have a lot of good stuff. So I haven't pulled a card yet, an animal medicine card. So this is for everybody out there, and I'm shuffling. Whoever's listening, whoever's watching, okay? And what I want you to do, since it is getting kind of late, whatever animal I pick out of here for us, right? I want you to Google it. Google it, and whatever animal it is, we'll just say rabbit, okay? We'll say rabbit, and then you go to Google and type in rabbit animal totem, and it will give the reason why the card was for you for that day. So I just shuffled them. I'm cutting them in threes. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I'm about to pull. And we got the spider. Let me try to get it up there. Yeah, spider. So what I suggest that you do is that you go, like I said, Google the spider, and it will tell you what the spider means for being, a totem. It's interesting. One day I'm going to try to have a show just on the cards itself. We haven't done a meditation for a while, so I will do a meditation coming up. And I think next week, if I don't get anybody on as a guest, we're going to have a question and answer show. Okay, seriously, I want to have a question and answer show to where you guys come at me with questions, and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Okay. I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. Whoever came in the chat, Tony, Doreen, and whoever was out there listening to the show, I want to thank you for being on, coming on and listening. And parents, if you can, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And children, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you don't have no children, and if your parents are deceased, nobody around, Find somebody who you really cares about you and give them a hug. Because those three words, I love you, go a long way. And if you see somebody out there that's having a little bit of a depression or anxiety of some sort, you know, give them a hug or just sit with them. You don't have to talk, just sit with them. Okay? And on that note, again, I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. We'll see you next week. And everybody, happy hunting. Good night.